Morgan Badgers. Isn't it difficult these days being on the left? I mean, the majority of us have the correct ideas for how we should do things in multiple ways. But we end up arguing with ourselves because we end up little bit too absolutist in our own principles. And when that happens, we like, even if we largely agree with someone, we'll fall out with them over one thing. And usually it's not like it's a difference in ideology. And then you got the right, who which is the perennial evil for the left. And then the average voter doesn't give a fuck. And yeah, you poll these people and they say they like our ideas, but by and large. But when it comes to it, what do they want? For things to just relatively stay the same and things get progressively better over time. Slowly better over time. But things like in the moment, they don't want things to like change, even though they say they do. It's 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 a contradiction that I just can't. It's a duality I can't deal with. We can see on the left some of the biggest issues happening in the world right now. And yet, because of many different factors, whether that's because like no one, there aren't many on that who are wealthy who are on the left who are willing to fund, you know, stuff like the in political campaigns in the way that the right do. I mean, come back to my first point on on the purity issues. I mean, it does one thing that does my nutting is the whole religion thing. Now, don't worry. This is just a small part of this little bit of discussion. It's just a part of the discussion that does my head in. And because I'm pagan, because I believe in the gods. For me, the Anglo-Saxon gods, Frigg, Woden, Tu, Tuno, etc., Lustra, etc. That I am just like all the other religious people. That pagans are just like Christians, who are just like Jews, who are just like Muslims, who are just like Hindus, etc., etc. And it comes back to one of my biggest pet peeve. If you've been a long follower of this channel, you know what my biggest pet peeve is: absolutism. It drives me fucking mad. It's one of the drivers of all the bigotry that we see, especially from the right wing, because they have this more absolutist way of thinking, and it's incoherent as fuck. But you get it on the left, and whilst I've had more bad interpersonal interactions with Christians than I have atheists, the number's not far off with me having problems with atheists, because they treat me as if I'm exactly the same as a Christian. I don't believe in imposing my beliefs on everyone else. I don't know any pagan who does. This is not the way we do things. And somehow the right have even now managed to infect the centre left coming into the left when it comes to trans issues. Oh, but the TERFs do have a point. No, they don't have a fucking point. They don't have a fucking point. No, they don't have a fucking point. And it is my point. This is my response to all the fucking dickheads to all the arguments that would come to my mail list. No, they're not. No, no, no. And there's no point in me giving a cogent explanation as to why I say no, because every time I do, they don't fucking listen. So all I'm gonna fucking say is no. And every now and then call them a fucking idiot. There seems to be this misunderstanding that engaging with the right means that we have to start believing what they believe in small amounts. I'm like, no. You argue your point. Engaging with them means you actually listen to their points. Yes, you try to understand where they're coming from. But it doesn't mean you agree with them. Again, this comes back to an absolutist way of thinking. And it's a really big problem on the left. And it's a big problem anyway, but it is. It is a big problem on the left. The factionalism is ridiculous. Now, you know, you should probably tell by my channel, the name of this channel. I get pretty pissed off. I get pretty emotional, more than the average YouTuber, I should say. But that's because for me, this isn't supposed to be a fake thing where I'm gaining money for it and all that crap. I'm not after that. But I do want to talk about this stuff, you know? I want the left to succeed. I'm on the left. I am a socialist. I consider myself a socialist. But there I come into another conflict with other socialists who say I'm not a socialist because I don't believe in this, or I'm not fully educated on that. And I'm like, do you know about evolution and the evolution of learning? I spent most of my life, at nearly 31 years of age. Count the one off, just round down, right? 30 years of age. For 2 decades, for two-thirds of nearly 2/3 of my life, if not more, I was more interested, and still really am technically, in the natural world and its history and its possible futures than I was politics, religion, anything like that. That's where I come from, psychologically speaking, ideologically speaking, if you want to go down that road. That's where I come from. Not this fucking strict religious upbringing. And our Christian upbringing. I didn't. I I had some paganism, spiritualism and whatnot, but This is nothing that was enforced on me. I was given the freedom to make my own decisions, to make my own choices on what I believed and how I should think, mostly. When it came to women, well, not going to go into any details, but like, in my upbringing, I saw a fair bit of abuse towards women. So, like, they kind of drilled a thing into me of don't fucking abuse women, you know? You don't have to be woke. I mean, I don't see the problem with being woke anyway, but you don't have to be woke to be for women's rights. Really don't. I'm not just for women's rights. I'm for everyone's rights, including trans people. One of my best friends who died a few years back was trans. And in the 10 years I knew her, 11 years that I knew her, she took so much abuse from different men, it was fucking unreal. Not just men, women as well. But the abuse she got from cis men was fucking unreal. And it was all from men who felt inadequate in one way or another. Their life was shit, so they fucking had to dole it out on my best friend, on one of my best friends. It was just sickening to watch. Bricks chucked at fucking living room windows. Being spat at in the street. These are the reasons why I ended up on the left when I finally got into politics. Because of my lived experiences. I've got shit. I've gotten shit throughout my life from people with all fucking kinds of skin. Your colour of skin doesn't fucking matter to me. The way you think is more important. To me anyway. Coming from a guy who's really not the best looking dude, that might not sound like much, but I've never been someone who values looks over psychology, essentially. But again, like, on the left, we have a massive problem. Now, you look at the material conditions now of this current situation we're in, either in your own national politics or global politics. The right is on the rise. A couple of years ago, I was like, it felt like there was a lot more leftist solidarity, but looking back on it now, that all seems kind of like a mirage. You know, I've been watching a whole bunch of stuff where, I mean, for example, Denmark, the Social Democrats, I think they're like their version of the Labour Party or whatever. That's gone like conservative, like economically socially conservative, but economically left, staying economically left-ish, right? And they've been pretty successful with that formula, and it seems like, you know, Others are trying that in Germany. So Wagenknecht, she's a grifter, I know, but like, even so, the stuff she's espousing, like economically left wing stuff, but socially right wing stuff, and to me that's a disturbing trend. I mean, you see, I mean, it's seen in the Labour Party as well. I mean, Wes Streeting is an obvious example of this. But I wonder at the political I'm not a socialist who ignores the political reality. I'm looking at political reality and I'm going, why aren't our ideas cutting through? We need, on the left, to really take a good look at ourselves. I mean, in America, that's not technically the left. That's that's center right, right wing, and then far right. Over here, you got center left slash center right with Labour. Then you got the right wing. Then you got the far right, and Lib Dems are a bit further left than Labour, mostly, and the Greens who are far left but weird when it comes to the NIMBY stuff. So yeah, we just the progress I felt that I watched growing up, more people learning about stuff, technology advancing, more progressive ideas being pushed forwards, just in general. And now it's all fallen to shit. And we on the left, it's like we can't just say it's all everyone else's fault. I No way am I in any. Yeah, I'm not an absolutist. In no way am I wholesale blaming the left for the problems that we're having. But we do have to recognise our own problems. We have to look at our own problems. Not only recognise them, but look to solve them. Because this is another problem. Often all I hear and see is identifications of the problem with no talk about how we deal with those problems. And if we do, and when people do start trying to talk about these problems, they bring up absolutist solutions and unrealistic solutions. Oh, we just need a revolution. Oh, we need to tax the wealthy like hard. It's like, what do you think is going to fucking happen? We need to think about. We actually need to have engaged conversations about this stuff, not just singular people, singular gobshites like myself, spouting out whatever the bollocks that they think should be done with no correspondence. It's why I very much sorry. It's why I very much enjoyed being on live stream with Reagan Elite, Ollie, etc. It's why I like Discord so much, engaging with people via Discord. These disagreements that we like, the majority of the things that we ideologically believe on the left, you know, pretty bang on. 70 to 80%, if not more, right? It's only a minority of things that we differ on. And whilst I believe in recognizing nuance, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't try to do something about it. And we should also recognise that we're not all going to come to 100% consensus. It's just not going to happen. Not on everything. It really won't. Which is why the utopian bollocks does my nutting. That's why, again, I'm not a communist. Yes, we must look to better ourselves. We must try to make things better as we look forwards. But we also need to recognise that a lot of the solutions to the current problems and short, upcoming problems are in the short term going to be a ball ache. But if done properly, will give us the advantages in the long run. It's gonna, for example, right, and just talking from my side of things, right, the main thing I've been going on about is sea level rise. It is going to be a fucking ball ache to get everyone on board and then actually execute the whole thing of trying to set up preparations for sea level rise. It is going to be a massive ball ache. Oh, for the ladies out there, except, for the others, for people who don't have bollocks, not just ladies, cis ladies. You know what I'm talking about. I'm getting in the weeds here. We are, he's going to be an asshole to try and deal with, but we have to take the bull by its horns. Too many people are looking for easy solutions for really complex problems. Think, oh, we'll do this, it'll make things easier. And do you know what, one of the things I've learned? Easy doesn't necessarily mean better. I think we'll finish on that point. I think that's a good point to finish on. Let me know what you guys think. I just, please bear in mind that I also have my own issues when it comes to biases, but I try to combat them. And it doesn't seem like it's a prevalent thing on the left. We get ourselves rooted into a position just as much as the right do, and like a badger, refuse to be dug out of that hole. So yeah, badgers, my shield at your back and my sword at your service. Blessed be, guys. Gold with.